You knew her this long. Why are you protesting against her? Why are you not just letting it go?
No,
So
but because no,
because
no, no, sir, no, no, no.
uh-huh,
It is because you did not want her to be rejected on the first count.
she was going to be confirmed. Trust me, Julius. She was going to be confirmed. Even though I wasn't there, I wasn't here in all the protests, she was definitely going to be confirmed. I
So,
mean,
and then that's the issue in the public. What is really going on? Is it
well,
fear or what?
I don't know if it's fear, but I know one time my colleague said Amar Kone said something, and I don't necessarily take that line, but it makes a lot of sense that we either have people that are afraid, that either get something hanging on their head, be it sanction, be it indictment from the past administration, or be it trying to gain favor with the administration, or from the ruling establishment, there are people who have been able to recommend people in government. So in protecting their people, they have to protect, the interests of the. So there's a lot of combination on the flow of the Senate. So
Compromises.
yeah, so and I say this, I admire the days of Yomli Kanga Lawrence, Darius DeLong, Prince Moe, Boy Charles. They were few, but they were strong on the floor, and they got things
In
done.
this case, opposition more, but you are very weak.
Well, opposition is relative.
Are you all spineless? As
Opposition
the
is relative.
as the famous word used on the legislature was.
I said that a few months ago too, that I agree with Senator Dillon, that I think we are spineless. I think it's about time that we stand up. That we need to do more, and I think that's why agents of the executive have a fee day on us when we perform our constitutional duties. They go on social media, they insult us, they lie on us, say what they want to say. In my case, you remember, I made a statement. I was accused of trying to stabilize the government. The Minister of Information and Justice met the Senate in our consultative meeting and admitted that they lied on me and that they were instructed by the executive mansion, quote unquote, and we were going to make the correction. Until today, they haven't done anything publicly. So, a few days ago, I raised an issue, alleged that there was an issue at LBS, and in return, I was insulted by the Director General. He came on the floor today. So, even today, we were able to amend our agenda, because normally AOB is the last item on the agenda. But today, because of the importance of it, we were able to amend the agenda to bring that matter up front. And we discussed it. The pro tem in her wisdom said that the leadership will take the matter up with the executive because it's becoming very persistent where once you are a member of the legislature or you're seen as an opposition legislator and you raise a critical issue or even opposition, not just legislator in opposition, once you raise an issue, in return of responding to the issue on the substance, based on the merit, you are responded to by insults. And I think it's not good for our society, and that's something that if the Senate doesn't pay attention to it, it's going to come full cycles. Tomorrow it might come to somebody else in the Senate, and then that's the time we may try to respond or do a checkmate, and may be too late.
Are you do you the opposition senators talk? Do you have conversations? Do you try to rejig yourselves? Like, what are we doing here? We seem not to, because it helps the government to do well, to do the best if you can really hold them accountable as you should.
You're right, but I think we're lacking that. There are a lot of Julius, and it's sad, but there are a lot of compromises, being made for different reasons. Like I said, other people on sanction and want to get out of sanction. Other people get something hanging over you, you want to get it out. Or you got people in the government, nominees or appointees that you want to protect. So there are different mixtures in the legislature, and because a lot of things have been compromised. But on the overall, the Senate.
But there were similar situations in the previous administration. It said that the executive was not strangulating enough.
No, don't forget that the previous administration did not go after people. There was not much. Let me say not go after at all because Charles Sullivan and others, I will say that. But where now there are people in the legislature today that worked in the previous government that may have some issues that you're afraid to talk because when you talk, you're in trouble. The next day, maybe Asa Recovery will come after you, or LACC will write you a letter, or somebody will say something. So there are different things in the legislature. To be honest with you, it's frustrating, and it's not because you want to undermine the government, but in our quest to enhance the democratic credentials of our country, these are things we should do. Keep each other feet to the fire. We should raise the issues, we should flag the issues, and the issues should be discussed and then find a logical conclusion. But to the contrary, we don't do that much.
Regionally, before we go regional, let's go to Bomi. Are you running in Bomi County 2029?
So the election is will be in October of 2029.
Yeah, but I have the opportunity of
in-
talking to
yeah,
you
yeah,
today.
I'm responding, sir. It's in October 2029. This is November 2025. The commitment I have now is to deliver for the people of Bombay County. That I'm doing. So today in Bombay, I have the highest scholarship program in the county. My developmental agenda is unmatched, and without any doubt, I can say that to you. We were able to give 375 students a stipend to return to school. So our program in the county is very huge. We're still doing a lot in the county. And at the appropriate time, we determine if we want to recontest.
It seems that there are a whole lot of forces are converging on that county. I've seen
the more the merrier.
the MPA boss always visiting that. That's where he's from. Is Fatima, Madam Shirley from Bomi?
She has ties with the Western region to include Cape Mine bombing.
So one could now infer that you had to stand up for your bombing sister.
No, not at all. In the matter of fact, it was not even taken into consideration. What was taken into consideration? I'm a person that, look, I've had many new leases in life. I've made mistakes. I've been forgiven. I've erred. I'm a human being. So for me, the fact that I think Madam Salif misrepresented her credentials and she spoke in a condescending manner to another female and opposition leader, I think it warranted us, because denying her, okay, give the benefit of the doubt. You deny Madam Salif, and you didn't give her the opportunity to correct her credential or to apologize where she erred. You have done nothing. Don't forget, the Senate is not just referred to as the Liberian Senate; it's referred to as the House of Elders. So it's our prerogative in the discharge of our constitutional prerogative. It's within the ambience of our prerogative to also give people a second chance or to forgive people.
It is also
Don't
there
forget, it's not the first
for
time.
you to set
Don't forget, it's not the
standards.
first time. You remember even when the beginning of the administration, when there was an issue with the public works and the Senate Committee on Public Works, where our chair, former Protein, came and say, forgive. So that's something within the Senate.
Yeah, but you're also required to set standards for the future, so that people cannot willfully lie under oath and say, okay, they will forgive me.
So, Julius, you present the news, you come and deliver your news, and then there's something wrong in the news, and you come the next day and say there's a retraction, or we're taken back with made an error. Shouldn't the listener say, no, we agree? The first mistake you made, let's keep it. So there's a room for it. There are options, Julius. There are options. So one of the many options is to either recall the confirmation, deny the person, accept the person. And I think the fact that the Committee on Internal Affairs, led by Senator Johnny Clay, to have accepted my letter as a member of the committee and a ranking member of the Senate, to have accepted that letter, and it was deliberated, and the hearing was rescheduled, and it took place yesterday, for me, is achievement. And I think it was in the right direction.
Okay.
Fault of any influence.
Good. Now, the main issue I call you here for. Before we go there, let's go international. What have you been up to regionally? You are always. I was surprised that you've been in Liberia, I think, for like 5-7 days now. You are always somewhere. ECOWAS always sending you somewhere.
Yeah, it's been.
Are you the utility man of the ECOWAS Parliament?
So the way the ECOWAS Parliament functions, which I show you, I've seen a lot of reports from you on ECOWAS. The way the Parliament functions, there are committees, standing committees, and I chair the first amongst equals in the line in ranking of committees. But my committee has multiple responsibility. So, like if you were relating to the Liberian Senate, for example, I'm the chairman on foreign affairs and security. Then internal affairs, which to include peace and reconciliation. So all of those responsibilities in the ECOWAS Parliament is under my committee. So I do parliamentary diplomacy, I do election observation. I do fact-finding mission. I do oversight. So there's a lot of responsibility that that committee has. But my first obligation, of course, is to my national parliament, to the Liberian Senate. So yes, I was in Cote d'Ivoire for the election. Then I had to run to Abuja to meet with the EU delegation. I was scheduled to go to Pakistan, but then I had pressing engagement. I had to cancel that. I was scheduled to leave the country tomorrow for Guinea-Bissau to observe the election, which will be on Sunday in Guinea-Bissau. I had to put my flight up for Friday because on Thursday, as chair of the Hydrocarbon Committee, I will be doing public hearing on the Oranto and Total or PSC production sharing contract. So we'll be doing a public hearing on this. So I had to put my trip instead of tomorrow. I'll be going on Friday. So again, in ECOWAS, I signed up for that. So, when you sign up for things, you have to make yourself available. Not necessarily a traded person, but I'm a ranking member of the parliament, come with a lot of experience, and my committee responsibility is immense. So I take my job seriously, both at the Liberian Senate and, of course, at the regional parliament.
Okay. Now, civil servants. This what did you really say? Was it only about civil servants when you spoke quite strongly about the budget going to the draft budget going to 1.2 billion, and there doesn't seem to be movement in terms of incrementing pay of people working in government?
So let me start by thanking the executive branch, the Ministry of Finance, the Liberian Revenue Authority, for landmark draft budget. For the first time in our history, our budget has hit the 1 billion mark. It's laudable. It's something we must commend the Ministry of Finance and the LRA. I think it's a milestone. But we cannot boast of hitting 1 million mark when we cannot address the bread and butter issues. So for me, in a developing country like this, where there are still people in this country that go to bed hungry. There are still people that cannot afford to send their children to school. So when the president of Liberia addressed the nation during the July 26th celebration and admitted that there were hardships in the country, when he admitted that prices of basic commodities are escalating or on the high side, and he constituted a committee. In his words, he's appointing a successful business person, and he gave all of the adjectives and everything before finally announcing his vice president to chair that committee. The committee was to report to the president, so I wouldn't speak if they have made a report or not, because there was a presidential committee to report to the president. Maybe they have done, the president and made that public. But when the president comes out and says there's hardship in the country, prices are going up, and then a few months later, draft budget of $1.2 billion. And as you recall, a few years ago during the Weah administration, salaries were harmonized. So people's salaries were cut.
And it was a major campaign issue.
A major campaign issue. I still remember watching videos where civil servants paraded with pride, with all being afraid of reprisal, and said, "You cut my pay, I will cut your vote." And my quest, Julius, is not necessarily for campaign, but my quest is that the budget is here. There are, yes, it's a draft budget. Yes, some of the amounts of the 1.2 billion are still in contingency. It's contingent on some actions. For example, we just talked about having the hearings tomorrow for Total Energy, on Thursday, right, for Total Energies and Oranto. If these instruments, for example, are not rectified by the legislature, it cuts into the budget. If ArcelorMittal does not sign the new agreement, the budget is reduced automatically by $200 million. So there are other factors. If asset recovery cannot raise $10 billion.
Someone said that you were presented with a legislative coercion tool and not a 1.2 billion draft budget, because tying all these concession agreements, the Oranto deals and whatsoever, what they should bring in, it is almost like
coercion should be the word. No, I don't think so.
Making you to want to sign those things, because
I disagree. That's why I just said to you, as I was speaking, I said to you, it's predicated on our action. So if we have the hearing tomorrow and we agree that, okay, look, or Total Energy and Oranto don't warrant having a basin, having a block in our basin, and we cannot rectify it, then the budget is reduced by those amounts that are included in the budget. If we say ArcelorMittal has not lived up to expectation to give them another 25 years concession, the renewal for concession, then the budget is already less by 200 million. And there are issues. Don't take it for granted. There are issues being raised in the legislature. I mean, you know the story with Antoine, who has been speaking, off the top for his people, So there are issues. Now, take all things constant. Say I'm not a budget expert. I'm not going to go into the dotting the I's and crossing the T's and all of those kind of things. But I'm looking at it now as a face value. So yes, there are contingent amount in the budget being placed there, but there are also some facts in the budget. For example, if you look at the budget, there's a line called now government expenditure. It's new, introduced for the first time. It's over 200 million. Mm-hmm. All right. So if you just look at that line, for example, that is new and the budget has survived over the years with all that new line being placed in the budget, that money is already enough to address the issue of pre-harmonization. Now, someone said to me, which I saw from funny, and said, why do we address pre-harmonization now if we still have 2027, 2028, 2029 to go back to that? We can fight and reverse it in 2028, which will help us to get re-elected in 2029. So if we are waiting to only restore civil servants' salary or from harmonization, to say let's wait for a year before the election because it will help us to get vote, then we're not being fair to the civil servants. So what I'm saying, there is no time better than now with 1.2 billion projected budget, draft budget before us to address the issue because they are facts in budget. I mean, things have increased. The budget lines of ministries, of agencies, of the legislature, other areas have increased. So, but the trusting, which I know will be one of your questions, normally when the Liberian people take the budget, even if we had $10 billion budget, if the legislature had $10 million there, the focus will go on that one. So the budget has always been about what's there for the legislature. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, for the first time, and I'm on record to say our salaries are small. I've said that. But I'm seeing now for the first time, if it means we should reduce our salaries for civil servants to have them restored from pre-harmonization, let's do it. But if we pass a $1.2 billion budget and don't address the bread and butter issue, Julius, then we've done nothing. And I think it will be a disservice. And I can assure you that if that budget is passed at 1.2 billion or even 1 billion mark without returning to pre-harmonization, I will vote against the budget. I may not have all of the votes required, but I will vote against the budget.
Now, is it only civil servants that you're talking about? Are you not including you, the lawmakers, the ministers, who's paying harmonized to?
I'm not particular about members of the legislature, but I'm also particular about our staffers.
Okay.
Now, for example, I'm one of those legislators that always believe that our staff are unpaid, grossly unpaid. My chief of staff in the office of a senator, if he makes less than $1,000, that position should be almost position of an assistant minister, if not deputy. Mm-hmm. So I think our staff is grossly unpaid. So those are things we should look at. Now,
and you people are the determinants of the budget. So why are your people that underpaid?
Unlike the executive that have one person with executive power, the other two branches of government is based on numbers. You can have the chief justice of the country. He alone cannot rule on case. He could have one person. He could be the only person of dissent, and the others could go on the other side. In the legislature, it's all about numbers. So even one man stood on top of the table and shouted tomorrow morning, and you don't have the numbers. You can't muster the numbers to join you. You've done nothing.
But it is about the welfare of your own staff, so it should not be an issue.
Fully agree with you. Some of us have made a representation. I know of a lot of senators that have made a representation, but maybe the numbers have not reached up to 16, which would constitute simple majority. That is why
if I brought all of the 30 senators here, all of them would say the same thing you're saying about the staff welfare.
Like I just said to you,
so how come you all can individually say these things?
So like
when you go back to your offices, then you can say numbers.
In Liberia we say pregnancy don't go behind, come in front, right? Yeah. So I'm saying to you that if these basic things are not addressed in the budget, I will now vote in favor of the budget. So,
Okay.
I've given a caveat that if this doesn't happen, the day voting for the budget, just thank God I see a lot of journalists here. I think they were all sent there by the civil. I've never been in your studio with this many journalists covering me. So maybe the civil servants send them to cover the news. But I can say to you today. So if you call Jeff found 16. If you found 16 senators that will tell you if we don't return to pre-harmonization or we don't increase the salary of our legislative staffers to include the personal and civil servant or central administration, I will not vote for the budget, then it's bingo. But I can tell you sitting in your studio today that if we don't address the issue of pre-harmonization, and somebody might say it's politics. Yes, I'm a politician. I'm not a pastor. If I'm a pastor, I'll be reading from the Bible. Or if I was bishop or imam, I'll be reading from the Quran. I'm a politician, so I speak politics. But this politics is about addressing and basic needs of our people, especially when the president himself, I didn't say a minister or representative, the president said he acknowledged the fact that the country is hard, prices of basic commodities are high, and he constituted a presidential committee to review prices. And then we hit $1.2 billion. If you live home and your father's salary is $100 and he got an increase of $100 or another $50 in his salary, your lifestyle will change. It should be reflected in your lifestyle. All right? If you live home, you work at OKFM. I see you on Facebook most of the time with your daughter, your son going to school, see you like a father, depressing. If we are to put you today as Minister of Information, their children expect their lifestyle to change. Either their school will change or they will get a little more clothes than they have now. They eat 3 to 4 meals a day. So if you have a budget that have come from 800 million to 1.2 billion, and then the civil service don't have an impact, I don't think, I listened to the Minister of Finance.
Yeah, he said they will do top-ups for engineers.
Yeah. So when we begin to do that, then it doesn't sound well for the budget. Because if we're doing top up for engineering, which is good, then let's talk about the police. Let's talk about the military. Then let's talk about the nurses. Then let's talk about the teachers. But most interestingly, let's talk about the people who have to sweep our offices for us to sit there. Let's talk about the drivers who have to drive the vehicles to take us to work. What do we do about them? That's why let it be holistic.
Are you rallying your colleagues? Because it is about consensus. It is about numbers. You are an influential person. Are you rallying them around this? Because I can remember there was a time when I think it was Akaras, it was Rufus Niva, something about what are Rufus Niva or Akaras when they want that civil servants pay to go up. There was some kind of there was some kind of serious action.
I think he even got suspended or one time or something like that during the Julie Bryan administration. I think in the Nigerian government. Yeah. So the Senate is a non-aggression body. In other words, is that most of the things in the Senate we hold consultation. So we hold consultation. We have a tradition after our plenary, we go to our lunchroom. Even if you don't want to eat, we have lunch together. We talk, we joke, we share on a bipartisan basis. So every time we go, I've made that a case that, ladies and gentlemen, it will be disservice to us, to our future, if we pass a budget in the tune of 1 billion, forget about 1.2, even we say 1 billion or 900 million, and we still don't address the bread and butter issue, Julius, we'll be doing disservice to ourselves. And I can't sit here and tell you I will get the numbers, no, but I can tell you that I'm speaking to senators, and I know of 1 or 2 senators which they have not asked me to mention their names, that have agreed with me, and that will be our position.
Before I go to the next issue, let me speak to the president of the Civil Servants Association. He's my online guest on this one. Okay, we have with us Moriba Johnson. Moriba, welcome. We have Senator Snow here. The other day you held a news conference. He's pushing the issue of increment in the salary of civil servants. Where do you people stand?
Well, first of all, we appreciate the call and we appreciate the efforts on the part of the senator. Julius, the issue about civil servants has become a sad scenario in our country. People use civil servants as political pawns when they want state power. And so we have to guard ourselves, especially as civil servants, we have to guard ourselves against those anomalies that are occurring against us. More to that, prior to President Joseph Newman Burkhardt's election as president of this country, he invited us in that discussion with him. One of the key issues that he placed before us and his administration was going to address was the issue of harmonization. He told us when he takes over through our help, the issue of harmonization was going to be a thing of the past. Unfortunately, this is the second year going, we have heard nothing about the harmonization yet. Okay, and then side to that, $1.2 billion, the very first time in the history of our country, for us to have such project and nothing absolutely is being said about civil service. It's a sad situation. Okay, even before this year, last year, the finance minister made us to understand that the 2025 budget was to address three sectors: health, education, and security. And that 2026 budget, of course, will address the generality of the civil servants. Unfortunately, we are hearing from him, I listened to him very keenly. He said this year budget will only address engineers. What happened to the other professionals? So, so you want to tell me budget year, the finance minister will be shifting the goalposts. He will give excuses for this, he will give excuses for this. No one should take us for granted. And I said this in my press briefing sometimes last week. I said no one should take us for granted. It was not only Nima that brought the Unity Party into power. Civil servants play a key role. The people that they are treating now as dump truck that will face the marshal, and after the marshal is completed, they dump us on the side, they pipe us on the other side. Civil servants should not be taken for granted. And I said it very clearly to journalists that came the other time to the press briefing. We took out government, and we can also take out another government and bring another one. And so no one should take us for granted in this country. If you come at the issue that has to do with the bread and butter, if it cannot be addressed, you take us as political pawn. When election time is reaching, then you focus on us. We think those days are gone. We have the national cake. The economy the resources belong to every one of us in this country. While we are working and we are poor, we continue year in, year out. It's not only this government alone, but governments past. We've been crying. Civil servant salary should be increased. Civil servant salary should be. We met even the current protein now. We met her during the administration of President Weah. We went there. We went to meet with the protein then, Senator Abachie. He referred us to Senator Yombi Kanga, and she met with us, and we discussed. We put before her our plight, the issue about the low salary and how the civil servants are suffering in this country. I mean, is it a crime to become civil servant? Is it really a crime in this country?
So what do you want other leaders up Capitol Hill to do, especially as Senator Snow is championing this cause?
We are calling on the rest of the lawmakers, both in the upper and lower houses, to see the need. You have huge population of this country that is languishing in poverty, the working class. We are only asking them and appealing to their consciences to please see the need to elevate, to at least have some time off for public sector workers, for government employees. That's all we are asking here. That's all we are asking. Another issue that is also killing us seriously, Julius, is the personal income tax regime that we find ourselves. It is killing us.
It's high, eh?
It is affecting our disposable income. So that's why every time we go into the marketplace, we cannot afford, to buy those things, those necessities that will sustain our life, because we are really suffering. And so our people should, when the budget is formulated, we think it should address every sector of this country, but not only one sector, and then every time you're shifting goalposts.
Okay, thanks so kindly, Mr. Johnson. Perhaps in the near future, I'll have to bring you and some of your team members so we can exhaust what your issues are. You just listen to him, sir.
Well, again, I think he spoke strong, but he spoke with a lot of passion as a leader for his people. And Julius, I don't think we should allow this debate to even live on. Even if we say let's begin something across the board. And I think the Minister of Finance, someone who I admire, someone I like a lot, but to come out and say we will do for engineers. Engineers are very important. We love engineers. But let's do for everybody. Let's look at some of the facts, including the facts in the legislature budget, cut down on some of the facts. We're carrying NSA now to 22 million. And I mean, I'm a student of government. I've been in government for long. NSA cannot be audited. So most of the crumbs, you just chunk it there. When you come back, national security operation, no auditing. So let's look at it. Let's look at holistic or a little bit transparent. Take some of that fat out, the EPS, and like I said, a new budget line, general government expenditure, over 200 million. It's the first time in the budget.
Yeah, there. Eh?
Yeah, I'll show it to you. Just go there and take out that line, Julius. I don't know. I'm sure they.
But are you also concerned that the projects, the most of the public sector investment projects are tied to the accelerometer, 200 million and other things?
That's why Julius just said to you that it's contingent on the passage of those instruments.
And this is why Benedict Koluba said it is a legislative coercion too, because
I disagree.
If they put the key projects that may affect the counties in that area, then you are almost under pressure to pass the accelerometer due, because if you do not pass it, those projects will not happen.
So, yes, they put in the budget 10 million for asset recovery. So is it, if the legislature passes it, does it mean we're looking for people to go find that money by force? And like somebody said, this morning I listened to your show, somebody said, criminal cases has its own bureaucracy and time frame. So if we put 10 million, we expect to recover 10 million from asset recovery, and those cases go through litigation and they exceed the budget year. Is it a shortfall of 10 million? Or of course, if we get money from somewhere else, you can cover that. But so there are things in the budget that we look at. But don't forget, budget is projection. So they are projecting that we can raise this. They're projecting that within this period, we'll be able to sign the Aston Metal deal and we'll have 200 million. So they're making projections. Nothing wrong with projections. And I'm not going to, have any disagreement with those projections. But I also disagree that it's not necessarily coercion, because we could disagree. And if we disagree, and that is why over 200 million is already in contingency. So if the budget is passed, that amount goes into contingency. So even we sign a caveat and say, okay, we hold on to restoring going back to pre-harmonization. And if we can pass on these thresholds, we will go and do it. But Julius, it's just not fair. It's not fair. Somebody might say, why snow? Forget the messenger. Go kill the messenger. Just take the message. Forget
others say you didn't say it during your friend George Williams.
That was you defeated my friend. So if you think I didn't say it, that was my friend was flogged. And that is why, like you heard the civil service chairman just now, he said the president now, who was opposition leader, met with them and made a commitment to them that when you elect me, there will be an issue of the past that I will give it to you. So those were some of the things that gave him the vote. So that chairman who spoke so passionately just now, you think if he went and had one meeting with civil servant, or just go in the chat room, maybe they have a chat room, nationwide chat room, go there and say, we've been assured by Deacon Boykai that if he wins the election, harmonization will be restored. You know how many people believe in? I show 80%. Off the top of my head, I can say about 80%. So that votes are going straight to them. But again, I don't want to dwell on the election campaign or the action. I just want to dwell on the bread and butter issue.
Okay, finally, arrest agenda contains are you concerned about, after the agriculture minister went to the legislature and said we need about 40 million every year to be able to be self-sufficient in food production? He also said it on the show, the entire sector gets $13 million out of the 1.2 billion projected budget.
And if
into agriculture.
If I come here now and start telling all of my disagreement with the budget, you have to extend the time. That's why I've decided that let me champion this one. I'm into agriculture. I feel that agriculture is lip service, especially for a president whose background is agriculture. I mean, from LPNC to agriculture ministry, I think we should do more. But again, the Ministry of Agriculture have to show more action than just talk. They should practicalize their actions. So I don't see much about them. I see, for example, we got Liberians here that produce eggs. The agriculture ministry, I think they gave UFC or one, sorry, I'm not being racist or anything, but a foreign company money to produce eggs, to get weed or something like that to get eggs in the Liberian market. When there are Liberians that making it, producing eggs, bringing in the day-old chicks, bringing eggs, doing this, doing that, blah blah blah. The Yvonne Dennis somewhere in Birmingham, so there are Liberians in the business. So I think the Ministry of Agriculture has to practicalize their action. Again, maybe somebody will champion the agriculture side. What I want to champion in this budget is to put bread and butter on the table. So because when you open your debate too wide, and everybody start looking for loopholes to go into it. Cost me for saying I want civil servant salary, and I'm sure they will cost me. But you can go ahead and cost. Okay. My only thing is I've been in the business for long, so the costing part I used to it. I'm just saying to you, do not pass $1.2 billion budget without restoring pre-harmonization. They said that man is lying. Even he lying, the color general, the chairman, even he lying that the competitor didn't call them before the election and say, we are call your money. When you elect me, it will be a business, it will be in the past. It's 2 years now. So let's do it. Let's do it this time. Let the legislature, for this time around, let's be remembered for restoring the dignity to our civil, to our workforce. Let's talk about bread and butter issue. That's the bread and butter issue.
His name is Edwin Melvin Snow, Senator Bomi County, 777-700-995, 555-995-995. The numbers to call. I saw Deputy Minister Daniel Sando trying to call, so we'll see. We'll get him. Let's see who's right here. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hello. Okay, you went off. Let's see. Daniel, welcome, Deputy Minister.
Good evening, Julius.
Yes, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Let me say good evening to Senator Edwin Melvin Snow. I've been following the conversation, and I see that the senator who has been fasting and praying for the government to fail has yet again embarked on another spree to kind of incite very decent civil servant against the government. And this is happening.
Incite civil service against the government?
That's what Senator Snow is doing. If you follow the deliberation, you get to realize that he's trying to incite, because you cannot talk about advocacy to increase civil servant salary and you deliberately ignored the step that the government took in the current budget that is being implemented to provide salary top-up for civil servants in the security sector, agriculture sector, in the health sector. Did he say that? He wouldn't say it. He wouldn't say it. And those who are saying to him that the government headed by his friend, former President Weah, destroy the country, and he's not a right person to say that, they are right.
So when you are, hold on, sir. When you all were championing the issues of civil servants and harmonization and cutting of their salaries, were you inciting them against the government then?
Julius, we had never attempted to forget the plight of the people. That's why in the current budget year, there are salary top-ups in critical sector. But guess what?
Was that what was promised? Were they promised that we just take a small band of people and just top them all getting small thing? Was that the campaign promise made to them?
Julius, harmonization was a disaster, and we as a government will undo it, but it cannot be done on a one-shot basis. Here's what I want to say to you, right? Currently, we could say, for example, the 32 million that we have paid in debt to the central bank, the government that was headed by Senator Snow friend from President Weah, they took 84 million from the central bank to pay salary in the month of November, December.
How does that concern the issues of the civil servants when you have a $1.2 billion draft budget at the legislature? No, we don't have enough time. So let's address the key issue.
So in the last budget, this government had to pay 16 million to the Central Bank of Liberia. In this budget that Senator Snow is currently discussing, there's another allotment for 16 million to go in payment of that debt or 84 million that his friend government borrowed from the central bank. So assuming we're not paying the debt that the government of former president, we are borrowed from the central bank, we would have
is this current government not taking loans that other governments coming will pay for?
Julius, what the CDC government took from the central bank of Liberia was not a loan. It's one that they cannot even account for.
Why are you paying for something that people cannot account for, and you are not holding them accountable?
Well, they're being held accountable. You know there are steps taken by the government to hold those people accountable.
Okay.
You know
Thanks so kindly, Daniel Sando. Let's take more calls. Let me talk to the agriculture minister. I think he's calling in. Folks, please don't call this line. Do we have the minister here? Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Julius. I'm on shows, but I was driving and I just heard the Senator Honorable Snow mentioning that the Ministry of Agriculture is doing nothing but to take money.
There is, sir. I don't know whether you can call directly. There is you are calling on WhatsApp. Can I call you back on your direct line?
Sure, I can speak directly to you. I can call you directly.
Yeah. So just do it directly because WhatsApp people will knock you off. Let's go international. Welcome. Let's hear you quickly.
Hi, Julius. My name is Reverend Stephen Cody. I call you from New York. And hi, Honorable Sun. How are you?
Go ahead, sir.
And Julius, at the call made by Honorable Sun for the civil servant salary, it's all over the world. Maybe yet in America, people are calling for pay rise, especially regarding the economy right now. I think it's time that the government paid attention, forget about the messenger. It's a need that the people's salary should be taught. But imagine a whole month, somebody making $50, $75, $100. And you think about it, what does that do in such an economy, everything getting tight, and especially around the world? It should not be about attacking people. It's about the government having concern and see how everybody...
Okay. Thanks so kindly. There's a whole lot of people. I want to know. Folks are leading my line. I want to get the agriculture minister. It's important. His ministry was mentioned. Okay, let me speak with... no. I'm also seeing Deputy Minister Myers from the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning calling. So, welcome, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, Julius, and good afternoon.
I don't know. You were not calling directly, so the people. But Chief, and you in the country, yeah? Hello.
Hello.
Are you not in the country, sir? Okay. Let me take the agriculture minister. He's calling directly now. Yes, sir. You can go ahead.
Thank you, Julius. Let me say hi up there to Honorable Suno.
Mm-hmm.
I usually don't like to call on the issue, but I call to respectfully disagree with the Honorable Senator that we are doing nothing. And in fact, he says we taking money and giving it to a foreign company to bring in air. That is not true. You know, when we got in 2024, that company was already fully established and begin production. So we as the government have not given a cent to that company, the UCL that he's talking about. We have not given them a dime to invest. In fact, I think their investment has been helping to reduce our importation of eggs. So I just wanted to make it clear.
Okay, but is the government doing business of them, like buying eggs or whatsoever?
Government is not in the business of buying eggs. Okay. There are individuals who could buy eggs from them. There are individuals who could buy feed from them. There are individual private sector actors who buy chicks for them. But the government is not in the business of buying eggs for any entity here.
Okay, since I have you on the line, sir, you went to the legislature, spoke about $40 million for, if we really want to be self-sufficient in food production, especially rice. You said it on my show here when I hosted you. How do you feel about your whole sector being projected 13 million plus in the 2026 draft budget.
No, 2026 draft budget, we don't have $13 million. We had $13.34 million in the 2025 budget. But it is true that the draft budget honor, allotted to the ministry. What we have is far below what we got for 2025. So we are still in the process.
No, I said the agriculture sector. I know that your sector, okay. the entire sector gets 30 million plus. So what is the case that you made for your sector? You go to cabinet meetings and all of that. Didn't you make a good case?
We made a very brilliant case. We thought our colleague had listened to us, but unfortunately they said there was some challenges during the allocation. But I think we still need more because agriculture, as you know, is providing livelihoods for over 70% of our population. And if we can defund agriculture, we think it's not a good thing. We are still in the conversation. I think we have been assured that something will be done about it, and we are looking up to them. And also, Honorable Snow is in there. I think they are the ones who have the responsibility to make allocations.
Yeah. He said he's also concerned about that, but he doesn't want to broaden his advocacy too much. Others can take that on. He knows that is small for your ministry, but he wants to focus on the civil servants.
He's a good brother and a good friend. I hope he will also be advocating for agriculture. He's a farmer himself. I don't see any reason why he will not be advocating for agriculture when he's a farmer.
Okay. Thanks so kindly, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Deputy Finance Minister Anthony Myers was trying to get in touch as well. Let me just squeeze in this one. It will be the final. The interest is high, but sorry, folks. Welcome. Let's hear you.
How are you?
I'm fine. Quickly, 30 seconds.
Hey, Julius, 30 seconds. Thank you. As always, I'm a very big admirer of Mr. Snow or Senator Snow and Musa Kone. And I'm calling as a farmer, probably maybe somebody who also have a vast knowledge or maybe knowledge in the agriculture sector. I just wanted to say straight off that 40 million is not also even enough for the Ministry of Agriculture if we are serious people in agriculture or want to improve agriculture. It's not 40 million. And Julius, I know there are some lousy people that will call and just make all kinds of statements when they talk about incitement. Because of time, I would deal with that another time. But let me say to you, Julius, people who President Weah highly to be a footballer, and somebody said, if President Weah could not develop football, then who else? And I am saying, if Joseph Boakai or President Boakai cannot develop agriculture, maybe you have to be Musa Kone. But I want to be very clear that 40 million is a drop in the ocean, and I have never been friendly with any agriculture minister, at least for the last 7 years, even in my own regime. That's Mogana Flomo.
Okay, thanks so kindly, Musa. The time is out. The news is coming up. We go back to you, Senator. The interest is high. Trust me, a whole lot of high-profile people have been calling. But sorry, folks. Yeah.
So let me just say to the Minister of Agriculture, I don't think I said he's doing nothing. I think, matter of fact, like you said, I said I don't want to go into it too much. Yeah, I talk about the egg thing, but then Minister, I didn't say you're doing nothing, and I think that the amount is small. You need more money, but I don't want to be the champion for that. I don't want to be jack of all trades. I want to focus on the bread and butter issue. So my very junior brother Daniel Sando, I tend not to deal with those kind of things because it lacks substance. Emphasize, Mr. We are my friend. The day we have National Friendship Day, we can talk about it. We're talking about governance. He needs to understand governance. So when you come to governance, you think you can dilute the conversation and say, oh, your friend or income. I didn't run the government. We are my friend. I have absolutely no regret about Joe. We have been my friend. We've been friends for over 40 years and we'll always be friends. So that shouldn't dilute the issue. When you talk about incitement, they are the same people that wrote that leaflet against me and lie on me, admitted that they lie on me. They met, just so you know, they met the entire Senate in our consultative meeting and admitted that they lie on me. But then we got to find a way to make it public. So he come back in with the same tune. How can you ask for increase in the salary of civil servant and you equate it to incitement? But again, Daniel is his first time in government. the gas slip in the vehicle. Sometimes it carry you away. So I wouldn't dignify that. But again, let's take on the issue. The day they have one holiday called National Friendship Day. Then you can talk about my friend. For now, we're not talking about who
And then
my
will
friend is.
will you also talk about your own friends?
Well, I don't know his friends. I mean, I don't hang out in the scene, so I don't know his friends. At least he know my friend. That's showing how important I know my friend. I don't know his friends. All right, I know his godparents who got him the job, but I don't know his friends. So again,
So
the
you
issue.
have the godparents there.
Yeah, we have that day too. They will talk about his godparents. So I'm not going to dignify what Daniel is saying. What I'm saying, Julius, is that this is no way trying to incite anybody. I'm just saying to us, and you saw him again. He tried to select people that have gotten salary increase. The matter of fact, that will cause confusion. Because if you now say we're increasing this person, that sector, and you leave other people, that's tantamount to chaos. I'm just saying let's do it holistically.
Okay.
Let's restore it. Let's address the bread and butter issue. No incitement. This is the fight about bread and butter. Thank you, Julius.
Thanks so kindly, Senator Edwin Melvin Snow. Tomorrow will be another day on the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. We